So my name is Serge Kamgen, and I'm the senior instructor at Utrains. I'm the main responsible of teaching the course that you're visiting right now on the website. Before DevOps, I was working in a warehouse, and somebody came along and told me about a course, a boot camp that they took in IT, and it switched their life around. And then hearing the salary that they were making back then, in 2014, he was talking about 110,000 a year. When I heard that number, I couldn't sleep the whole night. So the next day I called the school, they wouldn't pick up. I put the gas in the car, drove there 4 hours, and when I got there, a session was starting. I jumped in the class, and it's been nothing but just explosion of life change, not just for me, for my wife and so many other people. When I started working in that office, I looked around me, I saw that I didn't need to be some super ninja or have some super brain to be sitting in that office with everybody sitting there. I realized that there are so many of my brothers and sisters still in the same situation where I was in the warehouse, and I realized that there's a very high demand in the IT field for people with the skills of DevOps, and also companies are going overseas to hire just because they can't find skills set on the market. So I decided that, hey, why not share this information with other people so that they can experience the same change that I just went through, and that's what motivated me. Utrains is the name of the school, but the training is about taking people from literally zero, because we've taken people that could not even do right-click new folder on their desktop to the level where today they are out there making very huge amount of salary, like 140, 120. I'm just trying to be a little humble here because there are people making more than that. So it's a training that was put together, and when it was put together, it was really we have the people with zero background in IT in mind. So you don't need any background in IT. It's a course that is built in such a way that you come in, it doesn't matter what's your background, it doesn't matter what you used to do, or it doesn't matter what you have done before. All what matters is the commitment or the hunger that you have. So we're taking you from step 1 to the step 100, which is where you're becoming an IT professional and you get a job. So we're teaching the student about Linux, AWS, and DevOps. So we took 3 subjects we put together to create a course that we teach. So sometimes when people ask me what is the name of the course, I don't even have a name, because usually people will say cybersecurity or DevOps or AWS or Linux or any other courses out there, Scrum Master. But now I don't have a name for this course because it's 3 subjects put together: Linux, AWS, and DevOps. But we constructed it in such a way that when you're done, you're able to juggle your resume a little bit and show some maybe internship or some experience on your resume. Linux is an operating system that was created for the first time in 1991. And it's an operating system that runs on most of the servers that we see in the data center. There's something for a company called data center that a lot of us don't know about. But if you go on Google and you say, for example, if you go on YouTube and you say, for example, Google data center, and you watch a couple videos there, you will see this massive building with huge machine, and those machines are running Linux. So it's not an operating system that we use at home. It's mostly in those servers that they're using in the company, and there's a need for people that can administer those systems. So Linux, like I say, is an operating system that is mostly used in those data centers, and when it's running on those servers, they need manpower to be able to administer those servers. When you see a data center with thousands of Linux machines, we need a whole lot of people to be able to manage those servers. So With the training that we offer, you can get a job as a Linux system engineer, or as a Linux system analyst, or as a Linux system administrator. So in terms of money, we're talking about a field where there's no standard, there's no probably there's some regulations, but companies are the one fixing the price that they pay their employees. So I have some Linux system administrator earning 80,000 a year, and that part of our program is just 2 months out of the 6 months that we spend together. And people are making 80,000, some people are making over 100,000 a year. AWS is the name of the company. It stands for Amazon Web Service, and it's the biggest cloud provider. And before we talk about a cloud provider, let's first a little bit talk about what is a cloud. So you probably sometime heard about the cloud, about the storage of your phone and all that. So the cloud is these companies that help other companies build their data center. So you don't need to build a data center, you can just ship all your infrastructure in the cloud. That means somebody else is managing your server and you just run your application. And the biggest provider right now is AWS, which is Amazon. And that is what we're going to see. And then when you learn the cloud, you can get a job as cloud support engineer, cloud automation engineer, cloud architect, AWS architect, and all those. Those are just some of the titles that our students are getting. AWS pay can be anywhere from 120 to 180. Oh, they pay big money. So AWS is anything AWS cloud is over 100, 110 and up. You can get people all the way to 180,000 a year after the 6 months that we spent together. So DevOps, in a term that is non-technical, I would say, let's say you have a company like Uber, and right now their website looks dark or it looks blue, and then tomorrow we want to honor people with cancer, and we decide that we want the Uber website to look pink. So how do we change the website from the blue that it was, or from whatever color it was, to it looking pink for the people on the street? So we're going from an idea of what we want to a manifestation on the website. The in-between there is what we call DevOps, and it includes monitoring the application, deploying, developing the application, deploying it. But we're not going to do anything like development or coding. We're going to be just the people that support the application and making sure that the idea that we have can manifest itself on the website. So the process of learning DevOps will be just to enroll in the class and have an open mind, because we're going to start from Linux, we're going to move to AWS, and when we get to DevOps, everything ties together. Because when we're in Linux, we're seeing how to manage the server, like the bed where they're running the application. The Uber application is running on a Linux machine. So we see that in the first 2 months, and then after that we say, okay, Uber is running some of their infrastructure on the cloud, and then some of them on premise, which is those Linux machines. Then we do the AWS to tie that together, and then after that we do DevOps, which is that application called Uber. How do we maintain that application over time? So that's how everything is tied together, and you will discover all this when you take the course, or you can always go on YouTube and check what is DevOps. Yes. So some people even think that my course is called DevOps course, because when people call me on the phone, most of the time is, I want to enroll to do a DevOps course. And I think the reason behind it is because many people are getting jobs as DevOps engineer. That's the title that is mostly a lot of people are getting jobs as. In Linux, we Linux will be almost like the server or the computer. Let me use the word that everybody can know, the computer where the website is running. Let's say we're taking the example of uber.com website, for example. It's running on a computer. And what is that computer? That computer is running Linux. So that's why we're learning Linux. Then after that, in the Linux, we learn how we can install that application as well. All that will go into the Linux part. Now, AWS is that, where is that server located? That's where AWS comes in. Are you the one is Uber the one holding that server in a building somewhere, or Uber is giving that server to AWS to hold it? So if Uber is giving that server away for somebody else to host it in their building, then there might be some ways of dealing with that server which is different from when they had it in their own location. Now, that's what we're going to learn in the cloud, which means if somebody have a company here and the server is hosted somewhere, how do they manipulate those servers? How do they access those servers? How do they create those servers? How do they manage those servers? That is what we're going to learn in the cloud. Then after that, we move into, we leave the server alone. Then we start focusing on the application running on the server, which we call on the street a website. Whatever we're calling on the street a website is, in the IT field, we call that an application. So that website or that application is running somewhere, but we have already taken care of where it's running already, which is the infrastructure. Now, DevOps is where we're taking care of how is that application updated over time. The application that people are seeing on the street, we want a discount label showing on the website. We want to launch a promotion. We want people on the website to be able to subscribe to a lottery or do something on the website. Every interaction that we do on the website, we have to change that from the back end, and then the user can see it on the street. And that part now is DevOps. So to be successful on the course, you really don't need a background in IT. People sometimes think that they need to have done some different study in school to be successful in this field. But it's not. Anybody can succeed. We have trained surgeon, we have trained nurse practitioner, BSN. We have trained a doctor in pharmacy. We have trained Uber drivers. We have trained stay-at-home mom that didn't know again how to do a right-click, and folder on their desktop to create a folder. And what we saw in common in those people succeeding through this course is two things: is how hungry they were when they met me and how committed they are. So your success is going to be determined by the attitude that you have right now enrolling into this course. As soon as you enroll, what is your attitude going forward for the next 6 months? Are you going to be the type that can close your eyes on social media, for example, and focus on your study? Are you the type that can easily cut a party, cut some of the distraction around you and focus? That's what I call being hungry. That's the only thing that you need to succeed in this course. You need time and you need commitment. So you need to spend time on your keyboard and you will be successful. In terms of laptops that you guys need to take this class, you can use any Windows laptops that is in the realm of Windows. Any Windows laptops that it need to have some processing power. So we're looking at a computer with like 8 gig of RAM, at least. That what I'm giving here is like the at least. So if you can get more than that, fine. But if you don't, then get what I'm going to say here: 8 gig of RAM. The CPU should be at least 1.8 and up in terms of the speed, 1.8 gigahertz. And the hard drive, if you have something that have 200 gig available, you should be fine. Now, computer like Chrome OS, you will not be able to install some of the software that we are going to install in class. In terms of the brand, Dell, HP, it doesn't really matter. The inside is what matters. Now, going to the Mac, if you're a Mac user, that's fine. You can use your Mac, but make sure it's not an M1 chip CPU. The M1 chip CPU does not kick back on some of the software that we install in class, so you will struggle with that. So if you go to buy your Mac, make sure you ask at the store, is it the M1 chip? Can we enable virtualization technology? Even the Windows people, you can ask at the store, Is this computer, can it support a virtualization technology? So the M1 chip for the Mac doesn't support a virtualization technology. And also a quick note for the Mac: if you're new to computer, don't take a Mac to take this class. If you're a Mac user already and you know how to use a Mac and you know your way around the Mac, then you can use a Mac to take this class. But if you're new to computer completely, I will advise you to go with a Windows computer. So I just set up to take this course, and to be extremely successful will be to have a laptop and then have an extra monitor. You can buy a monitor on eBay or even on Craigslist. You can get one very cheap. I think you can get one for less than $100. So if you get an HDMI cable, you can connect your laptop to a extra monitor. Why would that help? It's because in class I'm going to be teaching you through a platform. It could be Zoom, it could be any platform. Now, if you're looking at me and what I'm doing on one screen, it's difficult for you to put me away to do what I'm doing. You're going to fall behind. But if you're watching me from the monitor, you can connect your monitor and then you move the meeting platform on the monitor, then your laptop is free. So as soon as I say click here, you can click on the same thing. So having an extra monitor will be very, very helpful. We have different sessions. We have a session that runs Mondays and Tuesdays, and we have another session that runs Saturdays and Sundays. Now the session for Mondays and Tuesdays is from 6:30 to 10 p.m. 2 days a week, 6:30 to 10 p.m. and just Eastern time. So if you're not in Eastern time, you can just go on Google and check 6:30 New York time to your city. Let's say your city is Chicago. You will say 6:30 New York. What time is it in Chicago? It will probably tell you that it's 6 p.m. in Chicago, right? So Monday and Tuesday, 6:30 to 10 p.m. Eastern time or New York time. And Saturday and Sunday, Saturday is from 10 a.m. in the morning to 1:30 p.m. and Sunday is from 3 p.m. to 6:30 p.m. All these are New York Eastern Standard Time. When the student come, most of the time they ask if they need a book or all kinds of things, but they don't need that. We're going to provide everything. So we provide document, PowerPoint, all the material that is needed for the class. So that's what they're going to get. They're going to be able to even get the video recorded for the class so that they can check it if they miss a class. What else? That's it. Then we're going to support them. We have a support system. We have a link on the website that for the live chat. If you click on that live chat, you ask a question, somebody's going to answer. We have the support button on the website as well. If you have a problem, you can click on the support button and somebody's going to attend to your problem. And also there's a phone number on the website that you can call as well. What I want people to do is to treat this very seriously, because sometimes when we say homeschool, people think that they could be in the microwave while they're taking the class. They could be watching the Champions League while the class is running. What I can tell people is, if you enroll in this class, make sure the day of the class, lock yourself in your room somewhere, turn off everything, turn off your phone. We are not physically in class, and you can say I'm on my phone and nobody can see it, but you're cheating yourself, right? Turn off everything and set up an office at home as if you got a job already. Like, put yourself in the mindset of somebody working already in the IT field. Set a nice, clean office where it's good to sit there, not some couch where you're sitting, and then you just focus. That's it. In terms of student that passed through my class, I have my wife's younger brother. His name is Yannick. He's extremely successful, and when he came in this country, he was living with me, and of course, he just jumped right into the class. He took the class, and right now he's working probably 3 jobs. I don't know how much he's making. It's probably like $500,000 a year. We'll go to a party and I'm spraying $1 here. The guy is next to me spraying 20, right? So he's extremely successful, and I think his success is just him listening to me in class. Because in class it's not just Linux. I also give little tips to people like how we gotta stay hungry in our life. The world is where it is today, where we're driving a car called Tesla, just because people are never satisfied. They have this hunger of keep moving and making things better. So if you take the class and you get that job, you go in the office, just have the same mentality that you had through the class, right? Stand out a little bit, because everybody in the office is trying to make 7 hours, and we're happy at the bar that we spend only 7 hours in the office. But if you can go there and spend 8.5 hours, 9 hours, you stand out immediately. Immediately you stand out. Even just spending the normal 8 hours, you stand out already, because nobody's doing it. So I give some tips in class, and if people follow that tips, trust me, they will be successful. I think that's what is happening with Yannick. I have many other students that are extremely successful. I have Aristide. Aristide is in Dallas. Astrid, sorry, she's in Dallas, and she too is very successful throughout the course. She was very successful through the course. She's home with the kids, married woman, and she got a job where she's making $172,000 a year. And actually she have 2 of them, and she's extremely successful at work. She's enjoying it, she's loving it. I have a couple in Delaware, Raphael and the wife, Immaculate. When this couple came to me, both of them put together, they were not even making $40,000 a year for both of them put together. But right now, both of them are around $250,000 a year. They bought their house in Delaware. They're living a beautiful life. There are so many examples. I think we have some videos somewhere on this page where you guys can check and listen to some of those stories. No, unfortunately, we cannot guarantee anybody that at the end of the course they're gonna get a job. And the only reason why is that there are so many different factors that goes into you getting a job. For example, the way you handle the material at home, I don't have any control over that. Your interview, I'm not going to be the one interviewing you. If I was the one that was going to hire you, then I can probably promise you that you're going to get a job. But I think the different questions that somebody can ask is, what can I do to guarantee myself a job? I think that's a better question to ask. Because if I tell you that, yeah, job guarantee, and you don't study, what's going to happen at the end? There's no way you can get a job if you didn't study, or if you quit the class. There's no way you can get a job at the end. So there's no way I can guarantee anybody. The question I want to ask so badly is, what can you do to guarantee that success for you? And it will be just what I was talking about earlier. Enroll in the class, make sure you stay focused in the class, don't miss the class, do what we do in class, do a little more research, go a little extra mile. I was talking about working 8.5 hours earlier. You recall that, going the extra mile. So do a little bit more than what is required. If I tell you to study 2 days a week, go study 8 days a week, right? So the course is 6 months, and when we start on Monday and Tuesday, it goes for 6 months before another Monday and Tuesday start. When we go for the Saturday and Sunday, it goes for 6 months before another one start. And you can look on the website below this video to see when is the next session starting. And the price is $3,500 for the course. There are a couple of flexibility in terms of how you can pay the $3,500. If you pay everything, you can pay $3,000. But if you don't pay everything, you can divide it into 6 payments, which is going to be $3,500, $584 every month. But if you divide it into 3 payments, it will be $1,100, and it will come up to $3,300 at the end. No, so this program, we cannot give you a certification, unfortunately. Why? Just because of the type of the training. We're training you basically to behave as a professional out there. We're literally giving you enterprise project where when you work on and you explain it to somebody, you sound like somebody that have experience. And I don't think any school can provide a certificate that shows that you have experience. Experience should be something that is gained on the job. But we do have a certification program put in place for the Red Hat System Administrator. You can study the material and go take that certification at the end. And that certification is an international certificate. It's not just in the US or in a state. It's everywhere in the world. It shows that you know how to mess with the Linux system. But in terms of Utrains issuing you a certificate, that would just be for your living room. You cannot present that anywhere. Experience should be presented on the resume, not on a piece of paper. In terms of percentage, we don't have a fixed percentage, because having a fixed percentage would mean every class we have the same percentage, right? So we have class where we have 25% rate, we have class where we have 35%, we have class where we went all the way to 60%, but each class is a little different. But the least is around 25-30%. Yeah, so also one thing that push a lot of people not to make it is the fact that they quit. You know, it's not easy, life is tough. People start the class, they're going through divorce, they have to drop. They're going for training in the army, they have to drop. They're going to give birth, they have to drop. They have family issues back home, they have to travel in Africa. Sometimes it's just that they don't like when people say no. When they go to one interview and somebody say no, that's it, they drop. So I think if we can have a situation where people are staying focused from beginning to end and doing the right thing, we'll probably have more than that. So there are many different branches in IT out there. They'll talk to you about cybersecurity, they'll talk to you about database administration, they'll talk to you about Scrum Master and all that. Why this course particularly? Because when you take a class in database administration, you can only get a job as a database administrator. When you take a training as a cybersecurity, you can only get a job in the cybersecurity domain or realm. But with the training that we have here, we have put Linux, AWS, and DevOps together, which means people can get a job in Linux as a Linux system administrator, Linux system analyst, cloud support engineer, cloud automation engineer, cloud consultant, cloud architect. You can get a job as DevOps engineer. We even have students getting a job as software engineer. So with the training that we're providing, it's opening doors to many different IT departments, not just a one narrow department where you can get a job. I was talking about being committed and all that. They don't need any background. If you never use a computer, or if you use a computer just to pay your bills, all what I need from you is a commitment. If I have your commitment, we want to make it happen, right? All what I need is a commitment, because we're going to teach you anything from beginning, introduction to computer, all the way to DevOps, which means you will see everything around a computer, like what's the memory, the hard drive, and all that stuff. How do they communicate with each other? How do they make the magic that we see on the computer happen? From there to the level where now we get into cloud and DevOps. So you don't need a background in IT. All what I need is commitment. I mean, if somebody even have a background in IT and they're kind of lazy, I don't think they'll make it with me, for sure. You need commitment, that's all what you need. People can take this class from anywhere. We have students in Dubai, Canada, Europe. We just have somebody landing a job in France, which is one of those countries where you think that they might be looking for where you took the class and the degree, but this guy was able to go through the program and land a job. I have people landing jobs in Canada, in UK too. I have people there working. So you can take this class from anywhere. All what you need is a laptop and internet. Anywhere you are in the world, you need a laptop, you need the internet, and all what you need to do now is to check with the time zone of the time of the class that I've given here and see what time is correspond for you and you log into the class. I have people taking the class even from Africa. Sometimes people come to me and they ask, I'm a French speaking, I don't know English. The first thing I tell them is, there's no success without sacrifice. You got to sacrifice. So one thing is that in the IT field, what I realize is that sometimes at work, you receive an email, you need to translate it in English before you reply to the email, right? What does that mean? What does that mean? It means you don't need to be an expert in English to be in the IT field. If you can have a conversation. I mean, for me, the only reason somebody might not make it in the IT is that they cannot even talk on the interview. Because if you can sit and have a conversation with people, and I've seen it many times, when you're talking on the interview, if they ask you a question and you don't understand the question, you can always ask, can you repeat the question? And people will repeat it. So where you are right now, if you can even have a conversation, but even if you cannot, just go online now, start learning, trying to improve yourself with your English language. If you can have a conversation, then you can get a job in the IT field. You don't have to have a perfect English speaking skills.